And this video is going to be long, you guys. Like, this video is going to be freaking long. Like, so anybody who does not want to watch a long video, don't tune into this, because this is just going to be me talking shit for a long time. So yeah, just a heads up, all right? What's up, everybody? All right, so it's Roger, Working Man Cigars. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. So I'm gonna get into the topic that I wanted to talk about for this video here soon. But first, I'm gonna be smoking this Crux. Come on. Crux Bull and Bear. Look at this beautiful band that you can't see. Look at this thing, look at this thing. Too bad you can't. Stupid light. People have told me that they like this more than when I used to shoot on my other spot, but I don't like this spot. I think I might have mentioned that a few times already. So this is gonna be a pretty long video, I think, and the only reason is because I'm not gonna really do much cuts or edits, or I wasn't even gonna shoot a video, but I really wanted to talk about this topic. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna light this up and then we'll get talking about it. So what I wanted to talk about was, already this cigar tastes kind of weird. Not weird in a like it's a strange tasting cigar. It's more of like it has this weird note that I can't pinpoint, and I get it a few times on cigars. I think this is what Eric talks about when he says that danky note, like a danky note. It's like a anyways, this isn't a freaking cigar overview, right? I'm not gonna do this. I just wanna talk for a very long time to people who are new smokers. So as you guys know, some of you guys know, I am part of the SSL, right? Shadow Smokers Legion. And they're just a cigar group, right? They're a group of guys that, the guy that started it, the leader, his name is Tony, the Soy Sauce Assassin. He has a YouTube channel, cool stuff. Watch his videos, check him out, he's cool. And they do a few things, right? They do some lives, you know, on a few days out of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. They do a podcast every week, or I think twice a week. I've been on it once. They've had people like the Cigar Collective on, Innocent on. If you're in cigar community and involved in like the people that I hang out with, then you know who they are. That cigar is giving me heartburn. I swear to God, that thing's giving me heartburn. What the hell? So anyways, they do a few of these things, right? And I like to tune in because I'm a huge consumer of cigar content. Anything I'm into at the time, I do like to watch a lot of it. YouTube, I listen to a lot of YouTube, so I watch a lot of this stuff. And the podcast is always interesting. Some are cool, some are like not really my subject, not my thing. And then some of them like hit home for me. And this one was super interesting to me. Here's the thing, right? Here's something that I have to preface. I used to listen to their podcast before I knew them. And I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, that's very opinionated, or that's very this. And maybe now I think I do view it a little bit differently because I respect their opinions of these guys a lot more, because now they're close friends of mine. They're super helpful. They've been smoking for a long time. But they don't always say this on their podcasts or in their lives, but they've said it to me, and I've heard them say it a lot when we're talking in like, you know, virtual chats and stuff. And they always do say that everybody has their own thing. Their experience is just a recommendation. They're just trying to help. They're just trying to, you know, give good advice. If people want to choose to take it, cool. If they don't, then you don't have to. And this doesn't apply to everybody, because obviously I'm really cool with them. And when I was listening to this podcast, I'm like, dude, I did not do any of this, right? So pretty much I wanted to go over this because when I listened to this episode of the podcast, I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. This is right up my alley because I am a beginner smoker still. I've barely been smoking cigars for 2 years. And I find a lot of this stuff interesting because this is something that I struggled with since the beginning. So let me go over what it is. This is going to be Shadow Smokers Legion. This is season 2, episode number 2, right? And it looks like this. All right, like, come on. It looks like that. Dude, okay. I can't show it. So, but it looks like that, right? It's got like a skull, and the skull's like an ashtray. If anybody wants to go check it out, I recommend you guys go watch that. I'll link that episode in the notes, in the show notes, so you guys can check it out. So in that podcast, the name of the podcast is "What Should We Smoke at Different Level of Experience?" And on this one, they had Rick, Senpapi Rick. He's another cigar content YouTuber, and he's a cool guy. I love his videos. And I thought it was a really interesting subject because I don't know if this is something that a lot of beginner smokers have gone through, or this is just something that I went through. But whenever I've made videos about kind of like regarding beginner smokers, I get a lot of people that kind of think similarly or have struggled with the same kind of questions that I've been going through. They were talking about levels of smokers, right? And Tony, just for context, Tony and Eric have been smoking for 10 plus years, 15 plus years, around there. Martin Amaya, same thing. Now, Senpapi Rick, again, I think he's been on and off for like 3 or 4 years. And I've been smoking for 2 years. Now, I listened to this podcast like 3 weeks ago or something, so it's not very fresh in my mind, but I've been wanting to make a video on it. So I'm going to paraphrase some stuff, and it might not be super accurate. So Tony, if it's not super on point, please correct it, because I never do my homework, and I never go back, and I should probably do a better job at doing my homework when I'm going to make a video like this, but I haven't had time. So this is going to be me kind of paraphrasing this. So in that video, they started off with beginner cigars, right? If you're a beginner, what should you smoke? And I think they framed it from like 0 to 2 years, right? 0 to 2 years. And they gave a list of cigars. The cigars that they were recommending was like, they said you should smoke bundle sticks, right? House blends. If you like to go to a certain lounge, some lounges will have house blends, which are cigars that they've gotten made that, you know, they're cheaper cigars, stuff like that. They also recommended like La Gloria Cubana, which, see this, I'm going to go into this right now. Gloria Cubana, they recommended Oliva, Ashton, and these are all cigars that when you go into almost any cigar lounge, any brick and mortar shop, you're going to find these cigars, right? These brands. La Gloria Cubana, maybe not, but like Ashton, they also said Perdomo. These ones, you're going to find these cigars, man. You're going to find these cigars. And this is where you start wondering, but why, right? Why? And the reasons why is, one, but budget's a big part of it. Budget's a big part of it. Strength is a second part. Availability is another part. All these go into it. This is where it gets kind of iffy, right? Because one of the first cigars that I ever smoked that I started buying was Ashton. And I had, for the longest time, I stayed away from Ashton because Ashton made me so sick, man. So sick that I remember staying away from Ashton for a long time because the cigar was so bitter, so strong. It had quite a bit of nicotine. Again, beginner smoker, nicotine's not there yet. You guys we don't have the ability to take a lot of cigars nicotine and not get affected by it. It will mess you up, makes you feel like shit. And if you guys can notice, I'm now smoking the Rare Pink Work of Art. It's a beautiful cigar, man. This is a really good cigar. Well, not crazy good. The Rare Pink is good. The Queen of Hearts is a very good, one of my favorite cigars. This right here is the Work of Art, and I wanted to try it because that crux was, I don't know, I didn't really like it too much. It kept splitting on me. I had this one in my dry box, so I was like, damn, I had to go grab this one. So I grabbed this cigar. But anyways, okay, so, and that's the thing, right? That's when if you're a beginner smoker and you hear this, you think, okay, I got to buy this stuff. And maybe you might think that it means you could smoke any of those cigars. They're beginner cigars, any Oliva, any this, and that you'll be okay, or it's a beginner cigar. But this is where it gets tricky, because a lot of cigar brands have different variety of cigars, right? You can go to Oliva and you can go straight for the Melanio, the Serie V Melanio, which is like their higher end one. And is that considered a beginner cigar? Is that considered a beginner smoke? Well, they specifically said in the podcast, don't go straight to the V, right? Don't go straight to the Melanio. Try the other ones out, the most affordable ones, the basic, cigars that they have. And I think that is one of the biggest things that a beginner cigar smoker has to take into consideration. And this is where you run into problems, okay? The price, I think, is one of the most important factors. Now, that's also a complicated thing, because if price is not an issue for you, then you may think, if price is a deciding factor and I don't care about price, and there's some of you out there who are like, what do you mean, who doesn't care about price? Bro, there's people who don't care about price, okay? There's people out there who don't give a shit how much a cigar costs. I know this because I have a guy that works with me. I have a few people I know that never smoke cigars, and when they do, they only smoke Davidoffs. They only smoke, and that was me in the beginning, all right? I've already said this story before, but when we used to go to the lounge, when I used to go to the lounge for work, my boss would always swipe the company card whenever we bought cigars. So what do? You buy the most expensive cigar there is. Like, you get the most expensive ones that you heard are good, because you don't know anything. When you walk into a humidor, even if it's only a small room with, like, you know, you look at those cigars and you think, fuck, this is so many cigars. But it's not, you know, but you think it is, because as a beginner smoker, none of that stuff makes sense. You even think, why is there so many of these things? Like, why? Why does there have to be so many cigars? How different can it be? Well, it's very freaking different, but you don't know that yet. And in the beginning, you don't know what you like. So the reason that price is important is not because I don't want to waste my money on something expensive and because I should be careful with budget. No, it's because you may spend $30, $35. I'm talking about Cali prices here, walking into B&M. All you have your own pricing, right? Think about a price when you walk into your shop. You may spend a good amount of money on a cigar, and the thing is, you light it up and you hate it, and it's disgusting. That's what could happen. That's why the budget thing is important. You don't know what you like yet. We don't know what we like when we barely start smoking. Now, there is some rare people who are able to pick up cigars right off the bat, and they can pick up tasty notes and they can handle the nicotine. Cool, man. You'll find that out when you start smoking. But that is rare. That is rare when somebody can smoke a cigar and know whether it's good or not. You know, whether you think, oh, this is a great cigar, oh, compared to the one I smoked. The only thing you can really tell in the beginning is bitterness, whether it makes you feel strong, whether it's harsh, or whether it's smooth. That's the only thing that a lot of people can pick up in the beginning. That's why I think even recommending a brand can be tricky, because every brand, if a guy out there is like, well, they said I should only smoke Ashton, so then you go and try to smoke an Ashton ESG. It's like, why did you do that? You know, why did you go and pick the most expensive one or the craziest looking one? And the reason for that is because there's people out there like that, because I was like that. So that's why those beginning cigar brands that are recommended, it's not just go to that brand and pick up anything from there. You know, you could tell the stuff that's cheaper, you want to smoke that stuff. You know, when I barely started going to a brick and mortar and there was people there, and you could tell when somebody doesn't know, is barely getting into cigars, because you're looking at everything like, damn, this is crazy. And people notice that. In cigar community, a lot of people are very cool, man, very helpful. And I had old heads tell me like, oh man, what do you like to smoke? That's their way for them to see, like, let's see if this dude even knows what he likes. And that's when you say, like, I like dark cigars, I like light cigars, or I don't know yet, I'm barely getting into it. Okay, cool. I see you holding that freaking Arturo Fuente Don Carlos. Probably don't smoke that. You know, probably don't smoke that. Grab this one. And they give you an Oliva G, or they give you the default that everybody recommends in the beginning, which is the Perdomo Champagne. Here you go. Try the Perdomo Champagne. This is a good beginner cigar. And the way I used to think, I was like, okay, thank you. And I'm like, damn, this is a cheap cigar. And I don't really want to smoke this cigar because it doesn't look good. But I don't want to disrespect the guy that was just helping me. But fuck, man, they're keeping me away from like those nicer cigars. I wonder why. Like, I want to try. And the way my personality is, when somebody says don't smoke that, or don't try that, or don't do this, don't buy this, it makes me want it. It makes me want it even more. You know, that's just how my head works. And I remember here, and here's what can happen, right? You can grab that Davidoff. You can grab that Davidoff late hour because you've heard the late hour is good. And you can smoke it, and you could think, oh, this is fine for me. I don't know why they say this is not a beginner cigar, because I think this is fine. And that's not the point. The point is you still don't know how to enjoy that cigar. You still might not be able to kill more than half of that cigar. And I'm a firm believer of, it's your money, do what you want. If you think like me, it's really hard for me to tell people not to grab a cigar that they heard of or want to try, or they've watched videos on it and they want to try it. It's hard for me to like, no, you're not ready for that. You can't smoke that yet. Dude, I cannot do that because I know what it feels like to be the person that's like, damn it, man, I want to smoke that cigar, and here this person told me not to. And it's not like I took it the wrong way. It's just, I remember thinking, damn, man, I'm going to have to come back tomorrow to pick that cigar up because I really wanted to try it. And I remember smoking a lot of those cigars. I remember smoking cigars and thinking I can handle them and it was fine. But then I smoke them later and I realized, damn, I didn't pick this up. Damn, this is a great cigar. I always thought it was just okay. And that's the one thing that can happen if you start dipping into higher end cigars or cigars that aren't meant for beginners so much, meant for beginners. Everybody is different though, like I said. So I'm not talking about everybody, I'm talking about a few. You can end up grabbing that cigar and then thinking, damn, I don't know what the big deal is about this cigar or this brand or this level of cigars, because it's not that good. It's not that good. It's not that different than the freaking Perdomo champagne. You know, like that's what could happen. And you could end up kind of being like, okay, well, it could make it harder for you to go back to regular, beginner cigars, because you think now you can smoke these Padrones or these Davidoffs or these whatever. A lot of beginners won't be able to kill a Toro. You could buy a Robusto, kill a Robusto. Some people might get a Corona size, kill a Corona size. Cool, man. I think all that goes into it. The main thing that I can say for beginners when they're choosing cigars is smoke cigars that you like. And if you like something, if you really enjoyed it, then it's the right move. Because your palate will change drastically month to month. Month to month, it changes quite a bit. Year to year, it changes a lot. For me anyways, that's what I've experienced. There's a lot of cigars that I used to think were amazing cigars. And when I smoke them now, I'm like, damn, I used to like the cigar. Why? Why did I used to like the cigar? And the Kintsugi is one of those. And that's just kind of, that's your palate and your taste evolving. You all have to go through it. Everybody goes through it their own way, right? Because let me dip into the next thing they said, right? In the podcast, their next thing was, okay, now you're I don't know if it was novice or intermediate smoker. And that was like 2 to 5 years or something. And in that category, they're like, okay, what's a good cigar for intermediate smokers? There was Drew Estate, which Drew Estate makes a lot of beginner shit, right? So it's like, this is where it gets tricky, but Drew Estate. There was AJ, because AJ has a lot of spice, man, a lot of spice. Tatuaje, Arturo Fuente, Dumbarton. This is the stuff that, Dumbarton is when you're dipping into boutique stuff that will taste different. Because for the longest time at my B&M, the smell of cigars or the smell of people smoking outside all smelled the same. They all smelled the same to me. Until I started smoking boutique cigars, the cigar smoke smelled different. It made me feel different when I would walk by and smell somebody smoking a cigar. I would see an old guy smoking a cigar outside, and they always smelled the same. And then I would see different people at a cigar lounge that has more boutique stuff, and in that lounge, it smelled different. It is just the smoke that's in the air. People are smoking different things. So you'll start picking up like different type of cigars, different things, and they start getting more expensive. Oh, and when they were talking about this intermediate level, I think Rick mentioned Fuente Fuente, right? Which Fuente Fuente is what you call an Opus for the most part, or higher end Arturo Fuente cigars is like the Fuente Fuente stuff, which can be like the Don Carlos Special Reserve, the Reserva cigars, the Opuses, the Rare Pinks, these all say Fuente Fuente on them. And they told Rick, like, you shouldn't even be talking about Fuente Fuente at that stage, right? And it's like, okay, like, all right, I get it. Those cigars are expensive and they're stronger and they have very different tasting notes. And if you can't pick them up, you truly, you're not wasting the cigar. If you enjoyed it, I'm never going to say you're wasting the cigar. But if you're not getting everything out of it that you could, it's just, you're missing out a little bit, right? Because your palate's not evolved yet. And then they mentioned 5 years plus. 5 years plus was the next level of cigar that you should be smoking. And that was Davidoff, Padron, Opus X, Fuente Opus X stuff. You know, all that stuff like that. If you were to listen to this podcast and think, damn, I have to wait 5 years to dip into those cigars, man, that would be so disappointing. And I don't think anybody would listen to that and take it as gospel. Like, damn, I can't smoke that cigar because I'm only 3 years in, 2 more years to go, and then I could smoke that Opus. It's like, people, that's not going to happen, right? But it is like a guideline for people trying to try to help guide people through, right? And I appreciate it. Now, do you think that the SSL or Tony, Eric, Rick, or Martin, they feel this 100%? No, they don't. And I'll tell you why. Because I've only been smoking for less than 2 years when they were sending me crazy cigars that are all in the 5 year plus category, right? So there's no way that they fully believe that. But I see that they are trying to give recommendations, responsible recommendations, because they don't want people wasting the cigars. They don't want people, spending a lot of money on cigars that they're not going to get full enjoyment out of. So I appreciate it, right? I appreciate their way of thinking and the reason for it. Because they are right, man. I still to this day smoke certain cigars where I don't really pick stuff up, and I smoke it again, a cigar again that I smoked a few months ago, and it's like, wow, this cigar is very different. And it's because I am barely into my 2 year, I'm barely breaking out of the beginner into the intermediate smoking, level. And you're still evolving, man. Your palate's still changing. Everything changes. Things will continue changing. It's just so interesting. Let's say you're like me. And when you start smoking cigars, you start listening to podcasts, talks, videos, and you hear some snippets here and there from people about what cigars are great, what cigars are good. And I know for a fact, if any of you have done this, you have heard that a cigar is great, somebody's favorite cigar, so you run out to go get it. This happens a lot with the Bert Kreischer and Rob Kelly kind of podcast that they did where they were talking about cigars. And when they were talking about tatuaje, I went to go look for tatuaje. I was like, dude, I want to try tatuaje because they said it's great. They said this. And I know a lot of you have to have heard somebody talk about a certain cigar. How many of you have gone to go get that cigar, smoked it, and you thought, I don't get it. I did not like it, or it was okay, or worse, you're like, it's good. I like it. I like it. And deep down, you're like, you're lying to yourself. You didn't like it. You didn't enjoy it. You don't get it. It was too strong. It was too bitter. It was too harsh. It was too bold. Or it just tasted like smoking flame, Because that's what happens in the beginning. You can just get like, this is a smooth cigar. Oh, this one kind of burns my mouth. This one's spicy. And until you smoke a cigar and you're like, damn, this is like dried apricot. This is a freaking great cigar. I tasted dried apricot. So you start tripping out at how good the cigar tastes. And what's going to happen is you're going to start smoking other cigars, and you're going to get that dried apricot taste again and again and again. Not on all of them, right? But on some of them, similar blends, or you're going to be getting a lot of the same thing. And you think, okay, this is just what cigars have, until you pick up another weird note, and then another one, and another one. And if you go back to a beginner cigar that you smoked in the beginning that you heard was good, you'll probably be able to pick up more stuff where you're like, damn, I never knew this cigar had cinnamon, or it had like a, the dried apricot taste, or I didn't know that this had a lot of the, like a licorice kind of taste to it. You'll pick that stuff up. And if, for example, the first cigar you ever taste, graham cracker and cinnamon is like on a Crux Bull and Bear, you're going to tell everybody this is a freaking great cigar because it was great for you, because you just tasted something you'd never gotten. It always just tasted like smoke, like burning tobacco, like you always thought it's just smoke. And you finally got something different. So you're going to love this cigar. Until later you start smoking more and more and more. You're able to pick up more tasty notes. And then you go back to this and you're like, okay, like I recommended this so much and it's not that great. You know, that's the kind of stuff that can happen. Another thing that can happen is you will go, like I did, Cigar Aficionado, Half Wheel. They make their list of best cigars of the year. Who's not going to look at that top 25 list and not want to go smoke those cigars? Like, I'm curious who sees that top 25 list and says, oh, cool, damn, those top 25. I'm definitely not going to smoke those if I see them. Like, who does that? Nobody, right? Like, that's fucking crazy. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go straight to number one and want to smoke number one like I did. That's what I did. That's how my head works. But not everybody thinks like that. But most likely, you're going to see that list. You're going to see a few of them that you're like, oh, I have seen this cigar. Oh, I think I've seen it at my B&M. Or I've seen this cigar online, if by that point you're venturing into online. And you're going to then you're going to go get that cigar and try it out. And then you go pick it up, and then it's going to depend on you whether you end up enjoying it or not. And you might ask yourself, let's say you went for it and chose cigar number one or number two. Like this year, I think on one of them, damn, I can't even remember. The Opus X Perfection was on there. Let's say you find one of those. You dish out the upsell, the marked up price for that cigar. And you're like, I'm going to save this for a special occasion because this was like cigar number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I can't remember. And you smoke it and you're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. This sucks, right? That's what you might think. Not knowing that cigar may be better. It may still suck for you in the future, but it may be great for you in the future because you just weren't ready for it. And that's why these things can be kind of important. You shouldn't disregard any cigar that you've smoked that you haven't liked, especially if you're a beginner smoker. And you definitely cannot say, well, I can't say that right. I was going to say, you definitely can't say a cigar is not worth the price if you're a beginner smoker because you still maybe your palate hasn't evolved for that. But at the same time, if it's not worth it to you, then it's not worth it. The initial part of me saying that if you say it's not worth it, you shouldn't say that because you still don't know. As fucked up as that sounds, like you just don't know yet. You can't say it's not worth it because you still don't know. As fucked up as that sounds, it is just, I feel that way because I deal with a lot of people at work. I've worked with a lot of people and I've dealt with a lot of people who speak in absolutes. And that's one thing that I fucking hate, man. I hate when people speak in absolutes. I'll give you an example of that, right? I had a guy that used to work with us. He used to work at a restaurant, did like hospitality, and started working with us. And Red Wing boots are the shit, man. Red Wing is really good boots. So he bought himself a pair of Red Wings, you know, when he was still in training. And he's like, these boots hurt my feet. These boots are uncomfortable. These boots do this. These boots suck. So then he goes and buys these cheap ass boots that are already broken in, cheap ass leather, like a quarter of the price. And then you hear him telling everybody, nah, man, these boots are good. Red Wing boots suck. Red Wing boots suck. It's like, no, dude, they suck for you because you don't wear boots. You came from wearing non-slip fucking lame shoes for a restaurant floor to now working in a trade where your feet need to be protected. And yet the boots are not comfortable in the beginning. They will get there. And they're there for protection also. They're a tool. So you saying that they suck, they don't suck. You suck. You just don't know yet. So it's just you suck. As you can tell, that topic, like, I hate that shit, man. That topic bugged the crap out of me. Because it's like, man, you're talking shit about like a legacy brand that everybody loves. Not everybody. Experienced people don't like them and they don't think it's worth it. And that's fine. But a newbie saying something's not good. So that's why I'm always like, dude, don't speak on it if you don't know yet, right? So yeah, I just hate people that speak in absolutes, man, when they speak as they're speaking fact when they don't know. But this is like an opinion thing, so it shouldn't matter. I don't know. It just bugs me. But okay. So that is mainly the reason why they say like you shouldn't be smoking a certain cigar or whatever, because you may not be ready for it. Your palate may not be ready for it. And as much as we think that we are ready for something, right? Because this happened in my head when people were like, you can't smoke Davidoff in the beginning. And like I said, the beginning, some of the first cigars I smoked was Davidoffs. And I thought they were good. So I remember thinking, I can smoke these other cigars because I have and I like them and they worked well and I didn't puke. Like, cool. But it's not that, man. It's not that. At the end of the day, these are just recommendations. This is just advice, right? This is just advice for new smokers, for other people. It's a hobby. You do it how you want, how you like, how you enjoy. You do it any way you want. You know, you do it how you like. I liked going after the best, highly rated stuff, even though I wasn't ready for it. And I discovered real quick later on in the future, I brought up this story when I smoked the Padron 50th, and I thought it was a good cigar. But when I smoked it again, once I had a few more months of experience, it blew my mind, man, how good that cigar was. And I remember thinking, I remember this cigar being good, but I didn't remember it being amazing like it is. And that comes with time. That comes with experience. So I also don't want to speak in absolutes by saying don't smoke things or don't do this or don't talk down on a cigar if you don't know, because everybody enjoys cigars at their level, at their comfortability, how they want. A hobby like this that's meant to be enjoyed for you, by you, at your expense, the way you like, should not be dictated by anybody. So I'm not trying to do that, right? And I feel like I'm coming off like that, which I'm not trying to be. And again, the SSL, man, they're fucking cool, dude. I remember listening to a lot of their podcasts in the beginning and thinking at the same time they're very opinionated and they speak a lot like if things are fact, but that's just, they're talking from experience and they're just trying to be helpful, man. I get the most advice, the most help, the most anything, questions that come up in my head, stupid questions, I get answers from them. They're just helpful and they're just trying to help. That's what these topics are for. That's what this video's for. This video is kind of just more for me to talk, for real. So enjoy the hobby the way you want, how you want, however, right? I've always gone into things a little bit too heavy, like this, right? This Saint DuPont lighter, right? This lighter is like $1,200, $1,300. It's a fucking lighter, man, right? Like, this is crazy. Now, to be fair, I didn't buy this lighter. It was gifted to me by the company I work for. But the reason they gave it to me is because I really was looking at them, really wanted one. So it's like, if I didn't care about it, I wouldn't have gotten one. Now, a beginner should not be using a Saint DuPont, right? Like a ST DuPont, my bad. I don't even know how to say the damn name right. And an ST DuPont is not like a necessity, not anything, but it makes the hobby fun for me. I do feel, I went to a herf recently with a lot of smokers and I was like embarrassed to use it because they have torches and these are like guys who've been smoking up for a long time. And not that they can't afford a ST DuPont or not that, it's just they to them, they don't care about that stuff or else they would have one. Every way to describe a beginner smoker that's trying to get ahead of themselves, that is me. That is how I've been. That is how I am. That is how I enjoy the hobby. So like a lot of this that I'm speaking from is just kind of like from my personal experience. Another thing, right? This Rare Pink. This work of art. I love the Rare Pink line. This cigar is giving me a note that I don't usually get and I have gotten before. And it's going to sound gross, but it's like BO, like a BO taste. Like fucking armpits, man. Like, it's weird. It's not good. Why is it doing this? Why are you doing this? Don't do me dirty on fucking video, man. I haven't even done a review on a Rare Pink. I did, and then I deleted the video because I ran out of room on my memory card, so I started deleting shit, and I deleted that video. So now I feel like I'm always going to bat for Rare Pink, and this one's over here giving me dirty armpit. Like, fuck. That's another thing you'll learn is that Vitola, the size of a cigar, has a lot to do with it. Not for everybody, right? Eric, smoke them if you have one. He doesn't get much of a difference. So I think it's like very dependent. So some advice that I could possibly give on this, right? So again, going back to enjoy the hobby how you like. Smoke what you like, smoke what you want. If you have a big budget, like, and you don't care about that stuff, and you really want to try these cigars, and you don't want to wait a few years or even months to be able to try one of these, try them, man. Try them. All I'm saying is keep your mind open about, and your opinions kind of leveled, because you don't know if that cigar is going to change for you later. But if you're dying to try it, fucking try it, man. That's how I am. That's how I was. That's how I am. And you'll figure this out as it goes. One of the most important things you will figure out, if you are like I am, you will figure out that price does not dictate how good a cigar is going to be, which is what I used to think, right? You are going to, one day, if you haven't already, one day you're going to splurge on a cigar, you're going to smoke it, and you're going to think, damn, I would much rather smoke this other cigar that I really like, and it costs a third of the price, a quarter of the price, whatever. You will come to find that out, because everybody goes through that. And that's when you realize price, hype, all this other stuff, what other people think is a good cigar, has nothing to do with how you feel. It's all very subjective. You'll figure this stuff out on your own. So that's it. One thing that I would recommend doing, which to people like Tony and stuff, they think this is a waste of money. To people who smoke a lot, this is a waste of money, right? Cigar memberships. They don't think cigar memberships are that good, but I think they're good, especially for beginner smokers. And there's one that I've always talked about, and that is Luxury Cigar Club. To me, Luxury Cigar Club, it's not cheap, right? I think it's like $80, but you get cool cigars, man. If you want to dip your toes into like more expensive cigars, kind of like higher end cigars, then I think this is the way to go, because these cigars, if you pay $80, you're always getting $90 worth of cigars or $100 worth of cigars, and you get good sticks. Like this one that I just got for this last month. Let me show you what I got here. One of them is this Espinosa Knuckle Sandwich, and it is the Connecticut one. Again, you're not gonna be able to see this, man, because the lighting sucks. Let me see. Let me see if this helps. Okay. Knuckle Sandwich, Connecticut, right? It's a cool cigar, man. This is something that, this Cavalier Black Series, this is a good cigar too. Now this one's like an $11 cigar. Again, not a crazy cigar. But then you get this, right? This is the Alfonso Gran Selección. It's hard to see what this cigar is, but this cigar MSRP is for $42. A beginner smoker is not gonna buy this one. And if you are, it's like you're really risking it, man, because it's an expensive fucking cigar. You may not like it. Then it also came with this Casa Magna Colorado. This cigar is a good cigar too. $15, and you get to try it. This is the only cigar I wasn't happy with, and this is the Lure Cigars. I just don't like the name. It might be a good cigar, I don't know, but I've heard some good things, but I just hate the name, man. Lure? It's like such a stupid name. Which in the beginning, a lot of cigars, you buy them based off, you buy a lot of cigars in the beginning based off look. They always say you smoke with your eyes before you smoke with anything else. You gotta like the cigars gotta look appealing to you for you to even want to try it. So I would recommend getting a cigar membership like that, right? Because the ones that give you good value, the ones that give you a more cigars than what you paid for, I think they're a good way to kind of get your palate expanded and to kind of figure out what you like, and a good thing to try something and you don't feel so guilty about. If you keep getting a pack and out of those 5, you only like 2 of them or 1 of them, the rest suck, it may be time to stop smoking those to get that membership. But it's really hard to go and spend $40 on a cigar, and for some reason when it comes in a membership pack, it doesn't hurt as bad. So I always say I like Luxury Cigar Club. Give them a try. They're cool. This year's the Luxury Cigar Club Sapphire membership. And another cool thing with them is you get 20% off the whole store, anything online, which they have a lot of inventory. So if you guys didn't know, I am sponsored by Luxury Cigar Club. They pay me a lot of money to say that I like them. So don't trust anything I say. Obviously, I'm joking. Whoever hears that and they're like, I knew it. It's like, no, dude, obviously it's just jokes, all right? Chill. But yeah, you guys, it's pretty much it. Long ass video. I had to delete some videos to be able to keep doing this because my memory kept getting full. And the way I like to smoke, which some people will laugh at this, some people hate that I do this. I jump from cigar to cigar to cigar because some people are like, you don't get to taste one all the way through. You don't get, man, I don't care, dude. I'm going to enjoy the hobby the way I want. Or if I'm doing an overview on a cigar, I won't do this. But if I'm just smoking for me and just talking and just hanging out, I'm gonna smoke how I want. If I don't like this one's giving me heartburn. I'm getting it again right now. So it's this damn cigar. I don't know. It's never happened to me before, but, and I don't want to go back to the Arturo Fuente armpit cigar. So alrighty guys, so that's it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for following along. Hopefully some of you got some good info from this video. If any of you are interested, please go check out the SSL, Shadow Smokers Legion. Check out their podcasts, their lives. Cool people, very helpful. Questions in the comments, anything like that, they always come through. They always help. They come with a ton of experience. So it's a good way to kind of expand your hobby and get to know people and get to know things. I know a lot of you in the beginning have questions that maybe you don't want to ask somebody in person. If you're an outgoing person and you don't care if you sound dumb or asking stupid questions, because I'm kind of like that, you won't mind asking somebody in the lounge or asking, that old guy who's trying to smoke, who's gonna, you're gonna ask him a stupid question, he's gonna bark at you or something. If you don't want to go through that, because they do that shit, some people are assholes and they'll do that. SSL, man, the Legion, you watch their videos, you ask them questions on the live, they will answer. They will give you their version of what they believe, right? Nothing is always facts, though, when it comes to this. Everything's so subjective. You can't ask, is this a good cigar? Because you might get, there's 4 people on the panel, you're going to get 2 yeses, 2 nos, or 3 yeses, 1 no, or whatever, man. Like, it's rare when everybody likes one cigar or agrees with one thing. It doesn't work like that. So the best thing is to figure that stuff out on your own, you guys. As you go, getting into the hobby, enjoying it more and more. It's the fun part of it, So that's pretty much it, man. If any of you guys like these beginner videos, I don't think any beginner would listen to a video this long about cigars. But if you are here and you want any more beginner topics, like how to hunt for cigars, how to find certain cigars that are tough to find, as you can tell, like that's usually that's where my head goes. To me, that's the funnest part of the hobby is, well, not the funnest, right? The smoking is the best part. But the hunt is a close second, man. A close second for me. Damn, this cigar blew up. Man, this cigar is giving me heartburn, man. Fuck. All right, guys. That's it. For the last time, I'm going to say that's it. And this is it for real. All right, so thanks again. Any questions, comment on the video, please. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thank you. See you on the next one.